What if the one thing that's truly holding you back in life isn't your IQ or your background or your genetics, but just a story? A single story you've been telling yourself for years. Well, today, let's dive into that idea through the absolutely incredible journey of Jim Kwik, a man who went from being called the boy with the broken brain to becoming one of the most sought-after brain coaches in the world.
Just try to imagine hearing those words, not from some kid on the playground, but from your own teacher, in front of your whole class. For young Jim Kwik, this wasn't just a mean comment. This one cruel sentence became a label that literally defined his reality for years to come.
So, where did this all start? Well, it actually began with a head injury back in kindergarten. After that accident, Jim just couldn't keep up. Learning was a massive struggle, a constant battle. And when that teacher made that comment, it did more than just hurt his feelings. It cemented this idea deep in his young mind that he was fundamentally, irreversibly broken.
And that one belief, it created this devastating domino effect. Because he believed he was broken, his reality just followed suit. He had a tough time in school, he fell behind all his friends, he got bullied, and his self-worth just hit rock bottom. His entire world was being shaped by that one single limiting story.
By the time he got to college, the problem got a whole lot worse. His old strategies of just working harder and pulling all-nighters, they just weren't cutting it anymore. He was drowning in all the required reading. Plus, he'd made this personal promise to himself to read an extra book a week. The pressure was just immense, and it pushed him right to his absolute breaking point.
And this was his rock bottom. He passed out from sheer exhaustion, fell down a flight of stairs, and woke up in a hospital 2 days later. He was dehydrated, underweight, and just felt like a total and complete failure. And lying there, he thought to himself, there has to be a better way.
And this, right here, was the turning point. As he's lying there in his hospital bed, a nurse brings him a mug of tea. And on that mug is this very quote from Albert Einstein. And in that one moment, boom, everything just clicked. He realized he wasn't even trying to solve the right problem. He was just trying to work harder inside a system that was completely broken for him.
This was the monumental shift. He stopped trying to measure his intelligence like it was some fixed thing, like your shoe size. Instead, he started focusing on the method. It wasn't about the hardware he was born with. It was all about the software he was running.
This whole journey led him to uncover a massive lie. A lie that so many of us have been taught our whole lives. A lie that puts this artificial ceiling on our potential. And it's all about this myth that our ability to learn is just locked in place.
So what is this lie? What's the one assumption that holds more people back than pretty much anything else when it comes to learning and growing?
Here it is. The belief that your intelligence, your talents, your abilities, they're just fixed traits. You've got a certain amount and that's it. You can't change it. This is the root of so many of our struggles. It's the very same idea that made a young Jim Kwik believe he was broken. And this really highlights the core difference, right? On one side, you've got the fixed mindset, where your whole goal is just to look smart, because you think your intelligence is static. But on the other side, you have the growth mindset. This is where you understand that your abilities can be developed through effort, through persistence. You believe that anyone, everyone, can get smarter if they just work at it.
Okay, so once you've started to embrace this idea of a growth mindset, what's next? Well, the great thing is Kwik doesn't just leave us with theory. He gives us practical, actionable tools you can start using, like right now, to begin building a better brain.
The first tool sounds a little aggressive, I'll admit, but trust me, it's incredibly powerful. You have to kill your ants. So what on earth are ants?
Ants are your automatic negative thoughts. You know that little voice in your head that says, oh, I'm not smart enough for this, or I could never learn that, or I'm too old. Kwik points out a really powerful truth here. If you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. Recognizing and squashing these ants is your first step to real freedom.
All right, next up, and this is so crucial, you have to feed your brain. Think about it like this. Your brain is a high-performance engine. It functions best when you give it premium fuel. What you eat has a direct impact on your focus, your memory, and your overall brain power.
So what does this premium fuel look like? Well, think of foods like avocados, blueberries, which Kwik actually calls brain berries, things like salmon, walnuts, and yeah, even dark chocolate. These foods are just packed with nutrients that nourish your brain and protect it from all the daily stress that can wear down your cells.
So, we've followed Jim's story from this moment of crisis all the way to clarity. We've unlearned a huge lie about our potential, and we've picked up a couple of new tools. And now, the focus really shifts to you. It's your turn to decide what's possible for you.
I mean, think about how fast the world is changing. Information becomes outdated almost the second we learn it. This quote has never been more relevant. Your ability to learn, to adapt, to grow, it isn't just a nice little skill to have anymore. It's the ultimate competitive advantage.
If you take one thing away from this, let it be this. Learning is your superpower. And the absolute best part is that it's not something you're born with or you're not. It's a skill. It's a muscle. It can be trained, it can be strengthened, and it can be improved no matter how old you are or what your past looks like.
And that brings us to the final and honestly the most important question of all. Knowing what you know now, that your brain is not fixed, that your potential is not predetermined, the only thing left to decide is what you're going to do about it. How will you choose to unleash your own limitless brain?